Hey everyone, welcome to the Morning Grind podcast. I'm your host, Stevietpfl. It is Tuesday, June 10th, 2025. We have a nice little 11-game slate to get back in the swing of things here. Hope everyone had a fantastic weekend and enjoyed a Monday. I had a super busy weekend and was so tired. I slept like 2 hours on Saturday night, Sunday. So I went to bed super early last night. So didn't do a podcast, but excited to be back. And yeah, I mean, 11 game slate. Best way to get back in this things here is like a huge slate. So Derek says great race in Michigan. Yeah, I mean, I think the racing in Michigan is really good with this car. Multiple groove racetracks with this car on intermediate packages typically pretty good. What's up, DJ? What's up, Derek? Let's jump in and talk some baseball here. We got Tampa Bay at Boston. 9 total pick'em game. Ryan Pepiot and Lucas Giolito in this one. Let's go Pepiot first. Below average strikeout pitcher this season, sitting around 21.1%. Strikes out left-handed hitters a little bit more than he strikes out right-handed hitters, and that probably benefits him a little bit in this matchup against the Red Sox, who most of their better hitters are left-handed. So, I mean, you could potentially take some shots on him in this matchup. I said I could see him having an okay outing. Personally, I probably don't get to a lot of him today, but I don't play as many teams as some other people. I typically play 1 to 5, and every once in a while when I have time, I'll throw a 20-entry max build around some stacks that I really like. But I think he is like on the fringe okay. He does give up a lot of power, and he tends to struggle with fly balls from time to time. And he's gotten very lucky. Like his WOBA was like 274 against lefties this year, but he's gotten very lucky in that aspect. So I wouldn't look too much into that. I just think like there's a potential strikeout upside against the bottom half of this lineup. The Boston side. Oh, and like I know some people like reached out to me, but yes, yes, I'm very excited. Roman Anthony got called up for what it's worth. So it's gonna be really cool to see Marcelo and Roman, like the prospects of both of them over the next few years as a Red Sox fan and as a baseball fan. Lucas Giolito pitching for the Sox here. I mean, he has really struggled this season to kind of find that form that we saw. He's had 1 or 2 really solid outings, but outside of that, he's struggled. His strikeout rate's like 17.8%. His WOBA was 380. Struggling with both sides of the plate, giving up power to both sides of the plate, not generating any kind of swinging strikes or whiffs. He's gotten a little unlucky against right-handed hitters, so I think his right-handed hitter numbers will come back a little bit. And I mean, the strikeout with Tampa, or the upside with Tampa, is they do strike out. So you could potentially take some shots on him in this matchup, but it's really hard for me. I will say I like the price tag. He's 6,300. Like I said, there are some strikeouts in this Tampa lineup. As far as the bats here on the Tampa side, Lau, Lowe, Arnanda, Caminero would be my favorite 4 hitters here. If Lucas Giolito's off, you could definitely see Tampa stacks working. So I think you definitely, depending on how many teams you build, you definitely want some exposure to this offense. So it's weird. Like a lot of the offenses I like on the slate are later. I like a lot of later offenses. So we will get there eventually. Pepiot, picking on him. I know he strikes out lefties a little bit more, but again, I think he's going to have a little bit of regression coming to his numbers against lefties. I think he's gotten a little lucky against lefties this year. Like his swing and strike rate and his whiff rate really doesn't support a 28% K rate against lefties. And a lot of his expected stats are a lot lower. I mean, it'd be probably a stack for me on the Red Sox side. Like Marcelo, he's so cheap still. I like his upside potential. I mean, I'm obviously going to take some shots if I'm playing the Red Sox on Roman Anthony. Devers, Duran are your two top hitters in this offense. Abreu being out definitely makes Anthony even more playable. Obviously, that's why he got called up. But I like the Red Sox stacks here. I like this game. I think this game's going to have a lot more offense than a lot of these games on the slate. So it's stay away from the pitching a little bit and go to the hitting. If you're watching live, I'm so sorry. Don't understand why, but I cannot stop yawning right now. Yawn like 5 or 6 times in the last 3 minutes. It's so weird. Washington at New York facing the Mets. 7.5 total in this game. Mets a 164 favorite. Mackenzie Gore, Griffin Canning in this one. So, I mean, the matchup isn't great for Mackenzie Gore. This dude's on another level this year. He has pitched incredibly good. I think if you're facing the Mets, you definitely want to pick more lefties and righties against them. I mean, they're like so hard to get out with right-handed pitching. The top half of this lineup is so good. But the Mackenzie Gore has been one of the best strikeout pitchers in baseball this season. So I'm going to play him against anybody at this point, just because I think like he has such a massive ceiling. Like we just continue to see 7+ strikeouts a match or like a start. So 35.4% Ks this season, his swinging strike rate 15.8%, 31% whiff rate. And if you look at some of his advanced stats, he's kind of gotten a little unlucky. So I think there's like potential for Mackenzie Gore his numbers to be even better than what they are. Like if you look at it, his strikeout stuff has just been so good. But if you look at some of his expected like stats just overall, like he's pitching really, really good. He's been one of the best pitchers in baseball this year. And it's just the curveball slider combination that he uses. It's so good. It's striking out hitters at such a high clip. And he really didn't throw the slider a lot last year. And it's just been an awesome addition for him to use more. He used the cutter a lot more last year, and he's not really using the cutter this year. And when he does use the cutter, it's generating strikes. So I think you could take some shots here on Mackenzie Gore. Griffin Canning on the other side of this game, I can't wrap my head around Griffin Canning actually pitching well. Like he just absolutely dominated the Dodgers the last time out, and he's not that good. So like those are just one of those spots where I feel like it's such an outlier spot. But I will say he has not been awful this year. He's right around average strikeouts. His ISO is below, like his ISO has been awesome at 116, 295 WOBA, generating a lot more ground balls this year. Still giving up a ton of hard contact, but his whiff rate is up. His swing and strike rate is up. So Griffin Canning has been better than we are used to him last year. He's been a little bit more consistent, which is good. So can we play a little Griffin Canning today? I mean, again, I can't wrap my head around Griffin Canning actually pitching well, but outside of like James Wood, who you're obviously very worried about in this lineup, and CJ Abrams, like they don't have a ton of power. I mean, Nathaniel Lowe, like he's still okay. His power's not great. Josh Bell's power has dropped off a lot this year. I think you could, in this ballpark, I think you could take some shots on Griffin Canning at this price point. And for anybody that's listened to the podcast long enough, like, it pains me to kind of say that but I mean, we have to look at what we're presented with this year, and his whips are up. His swinging strikes are up. I mean, realistically, he has a ton of upside. So I'll take some shots on Canning for sure. Bats, I mean, it's the two guys I just said. If you want to play a little bit of James Wood or CJ Abrams, I think you can. But I think I'm going to pass overall on bats in this game. I think this is one that the pitching is just going to kind of be a lot better than the hitting in this one. So not a lot of interest in bats for me in this game. Texas at Minnesota. This game is currently 8.5. Minnesota a slight favorite. Molly against Woods Richardson in this one. Tyler Molly, man, oh man, like I feel like the price is still high enough that I don't really have to like overthink this. I think Tyler Molly can go out and have like a really solid game and not like be a deal breaker. He has done an excellent job this year of generating very low power. He has a 67 ISO, 245 WOBA. He's done an excellent job of limiting hard contact. So, like, realistically, I think, like, Tyler Molly has been a really solid real-life pitcher, but, like, DFS-wise, like, he really hasn't paid off this price tag too many times this year. I know he had a big game earlier this year. I think it was against the Angels. So potential. I don't think I want to pay 8,700 for a guy that doesn't seem to like hit his ceiling a lot. Doesn't seem to strike out a lot of hitters from time to time. So I'll probably pass. And like Minnesota against right-handed pitching, they don't really have a ton of weak spots. And they're like these lefties that we really weren't expecting to be awesome. Like Wallner has been a lot better. His strikeout rate's down this year. Cody Clemens has actually been really solid. I was a little shocked by his numbers when I was looking at them the other day. Woods Richardson on the other side, like I played some pitchers against this team recently that are not the best, but like he has just been so awful this year. Like all the regression we talked about on this show last year about Woods Richardson regressing, and like it's finally happening. It's finally happening this season. Like this is the regression that I really thought was going to happen a lot last year, and it's happened. You look at it, and he has a 15% K rate against lefties. He's still really solid against righties. He's just really struggling with lefties. 222 ISO, 415 WOBA, struggling with fly balls, struggling with hard contact, struggling with barrels. Like everything you don't want to happen is happening for him right now. So giving up a lot of home runs, not necessarily getting blown up. I think I'm going to pass on him. And I kind of hate playing Texas right now because they've just been such a miserable team to play. But Carter, Seager, Haggerty, Smith, Ozuna, I think are all playable here. My boy Wyatt Langford, even righty, I think is fine. But Texas is at that point where they're like cheap enough that I'll get some exposure against Woods Richardson just because he struggled so much against left-handed hitters this year. On the other side, like Tyler Mahle has done an excellent job limiting power. Like I said when I was talking about him, he has only given up 3 home runs all season, which is, and 2 of those home runs were in one game. So in his 10, or I think it's 12, 13. In his 13 starts this year, he's only given up 3 home runs, and 2 of those were in one start. I just don't see a lot of upside in the Minnesota stack here. I think this is a spot I'll stay away from them. Even if you're not playing a lot of Tyler Mahle, I don't think this is a spot you want to play a lot of this offense. All right, Yankees, Royals, 8.5 total in this game, and the Yankees are a 206 favorite. The total of this game threw me off. I'm just going to say that. When I was looking at the slate overall, I got really thrown off by this total being so high. So do with that as you please. I think the total in this game's high. We'll start with Max Fried. Obviously, I think Max Fried is one of the best pitchers on the slate, if not the best pitcher on the slate. So I have a lot of interest in him here against the Royals. When you're looking at this Royals team, they don't strike out a lot against right-handed pitching. But when you look at this team against lefties, there's a lot of strikeouts in this lineup. So I think I still have it up. Against right-handed pitching this season, the Royals are 29th, second lowest strikeout rate in baseball on the year. Against left-handed pitching, they're at like 21st, so they strike out a lot more against left-handed pitching, depending on who's in the lineup, because there's a lot more strikeouts in this lineup with these young hitters. So it'd be interesting to see what they do overall here, but I think Fried and Gore are far above everybody else for me today. I think both these guys are great. But let's talk about my boy on the other side here, Noah Cameron. I keep saying it. He is not going to go out there and strike everybody out. That is not his game. His game is to use his 4 pitches, generate low power, and throw 5 or 6 good quality innings. As a baseball fan, I love this guy because he reminds me of like old school baseball where you're not really trying to blow the ball by people. You're using your craft and it's just working. And he's been awesome. I think he's going to be really good long term. I think at 9K, I probably passed today on my dude, Noah Cameron. And the reason is just more of like, he's not a huge strikeout guy. At this price point, we need strikeouts. So it's not like this is an incredible strikeout matchup. It's like maybe a slightly above average strikeout matchup. But I don't think I'd stack against him. I mean, you could play Paul Goldschmidt there and Judge against any lefty. Volpe, maybe. I don't think I'd stack against him. Like I said, he's done an excellent job this year limiting power. 64 ISO, 195 WOBA. He's a really, really strong real life pitcher. And I don't like the offense. Like, again, I'm a little thrown off by the total in this game. I'm pulling up the Hard Rock app here really quick. So I'm going to take under 4.5 first setting runs at minus 125 if anybody wants to morning grind squad ride it up. But I think under 4.5 in the first 5 is it should not be I think it should be like 150. So I like the under 4.5 first 5 innings of this game. So if you want to ride bat again, like I just don't like the bats in this game. I mean, on the Yankees side, like I said, Judge, Goldschmidt, Volpe have been good against left-handed pitching all year. Noah Cameron has a 0 ISO against lefties with an 88 WOBA. Those numbers are probably not sustainable, but he's yet to get barreled against the lefty yet this year. So I think he's only faced like 25 or 28 lefties, but he's really good. And then on the Royals side, like Max Fried is really good. Like, who do we play against him? I mean, Bobby Witt, you could play against anybody. Garcia gets the platoon advantage. So, I mean, those 4 or 5 pieces that I mentioned, sure. But overall, I think it's going to be a low-scoring game. I hope so, because I did put that bet in. Atlanta at Milwaukee, 8.5 total in this game. We got a pick'em game here. We got Holmes and Quinn Priester. We'll start with Holmes, and he's been one of those guys that's kind of surprised me this year. He's been a lot better than I expected him to be. Kind of got hit pretty hard last time out against Arizona, but they also continue to be one of the best teams in baseball against right-handed pitching. With how hot and cold this Milwaukee lineup is, the bottom half has very limited power. Like, Holmes is not a fly ball guy. He's more of a ground ball guy. So doesn't really benefit like Yelich. Jackson Cheerio, he really hasn't done much this year. I think Grant Holmes is playable in large field tournament stuff. I think that the price under 8K makes him playable. He has some strikeout upside. There's some strikeout upside in this matchup. So, yeah, I mean, again, I think that you kind of hope that he bounces back from his last start and we get like 20 plus from him in this one. On the other side of this game, Quinn Priester is not good. He's a well below average strikeout pitcher. From the time they have been like having a opener for him, so I wouldn't be shocked if we get an announcement on Tuesday morning that like Hall is going to. I think Hall was the person that opened for him last time, so I wouldn't be shocked if we see that again. But yeah, I mean, I don't really have any interest in Quinn Priester, below average strikeout guy. I have interest in the Atlanta bats. Ronald Acuna is back. He looks awesome. I hope Baldwin catches. Riley, Olsen, Ozuna. Yeah. I have interest in the whole Brave stack. So, like, if we get some cheap pieces here, like White or Verdugo playing, sure. But Albies is cheap enough. Ozuna is like 3,800. That price is just a really good price for him. Drake Baldwin at catcher just continues to do well. So me included, we're like a little shocked by the Travis d'Arnaud not getting re-signed, but it's obviously working out. Toronto at St. Louis, 8.5 total in this game. Toronto a slight 125 favorite. Bassett and Mikolas facing off against each other. Let's talk Bassett first. Continues to just be a strike thrower, not really walking hitters this season. The matchup against St. Louis, I don't think is the greatest matchup because they do have one of the lower strikeout rates in baseball against right-handed pitching this season. So I think the strikeout matchup here is not great. St. Louis has the 4th lowest strikeout rate against righties this season. So I hate the strikeout upside, but I mean, I think this is a spot at the price, 7,700 for Bassett. You could potentially take some shots. I do, if Bassett starts getting ownership because he's under 8K, I do like the potential of using a guy like Holmes from that game that we just talked about. to be different. But Cardinals are in that one of those like streaks right now where they're kind of ice cold. Like if you look at some of their last 30-day stats, like it's not the best. So Miles Mikolas. I haven't played him this year. I don't think I'll start now. I mean, he's not really getting like giving up home runs and getting like blown up. But overall, like he has a 13.8% K rate. He has over 4 strikeouts. So 5, he has one outing with 5 and one outing with 6. So only 2 times this season in 12 starts has he gone over 4 strikeouts. Like he's had some games at 4, but only twice has he gone like 5 or 6. So very low strikeout pitcher. I'm just out. I don't really have any interest in him. And I think anytime Mikolas pitches you could stack against him, it hasn't really been working as much this year. He's done a good job of like limiting the damage. So I could see like maybe Barger as like a one-off, Bichette as like a one-off, Springer as a one-off, Vlad always. But Vlad's power numbers have been down this season against righties, and he's been walking a lot. Good real life stuff, but we don't like walks in DFS. Picking on Bassett, you want left-handed power. Donovan, Nootbaar, Burleson. You could always play win for the stolen base upside. But again, I do have offenses that I like in this slate. I know I keep going through these games, and I'm like, my favorite offense is coming up here in a few games. But yeah, I mean, overall, not super excited about playing the Cardinals. Chicago White Sox at Houston Astros. This game has a 8 total. Houston's a 195 favorite. We got Shane Smith and Lance McCullers facing off against each other. So anytime we get a pitcher against this team, we're like, how does he pitch against righties? Well, to answer your question, Shane Smith is really solid against right-handed hitters. 26.6% Ks, 8.5% walks, 117 ISO, 301 WOBA, 45 or 47.5% ground ball rate. A lot of swinging strikes, a lot of whiffs. I wish he was a little cheaper, but I think you could take some shots on Shane Smith today. He's been really, I mean, he's above average against righties and probably a little below average against lefties. And outside of Melton, they don't really have lefties in this lineup. So I don't think Shane Smith is the craziest thing here if you want to take some tournament shots on him. Lance McCullers on the other side of this game. We're starting to see McCullers get to pre-injury type numbers. He's looked really good here recently. 27 strikeouts over his last 3 starts, and he gets a matchup against the White Sox, and his stuff has just been nasty against lefties, and they're going to throw quite a few lefties at him in here. Kyle Teal got called up. I didn't get a chance to talk about that last week, but I'm super excited for Kyle Teal. He was a guy that I was really excited for in the Red Sox organization, but was part of the Crochet trade. But Kyle Teal, one of the better catcher prospects in baseball. I think it was him and Rushing, the dude from the Dodgers. Like theirs were like 2 of the top like catcher prospects in baseball. So I think Kyle Teal long term is going to be very good hitter. But I don't think this is a spot I'd take. I like Lance McCullers. I think McCullers is going to be pretty chalky today for what it's worth. And I think I'd eat the chalk a little bit on this one. I think this matchup is really good for him. And I think he has a ton of strikeout upside. And the fact that we're like really starting to see him put together some good games is a really good sign for me. And you look at some of his advanced numbers and you're like, all right, he might be back. He's given up a lot of hard contact, but he did that before the injuries too. But really good against lefties this year. White Sox bats. I mean, Tauchman, like the problem is like McCullers been so reverse splitsy this year. He's been so good against lefties that I don't know. I don't really have a ton of interest here. I will be playing Kyle Teal a lot until they price him up. So I might just leave him in my player pool for this game just because I think he's just too cheap. But overall, not very interested in this spot. So the Astros bats, one of the reasons that I have interest in Shane Smith is I don't really see where they're going to exploit his weaknesses, which is lefty power. I don't really have any interest in the Astros today. I know they're like a huge favorite here at home, but I don't really have a ton of interest in the Astros. I might jump on some Smith props tomorrow when the props start coming out. If he's getting undervalued for a matchup against the Astros. All right, San Francisco at Colorado, 11.5 total in this game. San Francisco, I can't read my own handwriting sometimes. I know it's terrible, but anyway. Kyle Harrison, Carson Palmquist. Again, if you're watching live, I'm so sorry. I cannot stop yawning. So Harrison, we've kind of seen him like progress back into a starter role. Really struggled last time out against San Diego. He's been okay. Looking at this matchup though, like I definitely prefer right-handed pitchers against this team because like Goodman, Beck, who did they just called somebody up? The Rockies just called somebody up. Ritter, right? I think Ryan Ritter just got called up. So I think I prefer right-handed pitchers against this team. Sorry, I'm like losing my train of thought because I can't stop yawning. I don't really have a ton of interest in Harrison in cores here. I think I'd rather take some shots on some of these other cheap pitchers in that mid-range instead of going all the way down here. Palmquist on the other side, I think like Carson Palmquist has like the potential to be good. I know he came in the season as like one of their top 10 prospects, and he's supposed to have a really good slider fastball changeup combo, but overall, like it really just has like he hasn't pitched well. He hasn't had a good matchup, and I don't think this is a good matchup either. For what it's worth, the Giants have some really good bats against left-handed pitching. Flores, Ramos, Chapman, Fitzgerald is typically good against lefties. So I think I'm out on Palmquist here. I think there's going to be times this year where I play him. I will say, like, Chapman did get x-rays in his hand. He got hit by a pitch, I think it was Sunday. So he might be out. And like Jung Ho Lee has been dealing with like a back injury. So still don't think I want to take shots on him. And as far as the bats, I really like Ramos and Flores and Coors here. I think they're really great options. Obviously, we'll see on the Chapman news, but you know, a guy like Fitzgerald, if he cracks a good lineup spot, he's good against left-handed pitching as well. He was good against lefties last year. Casey Schmidt, I would assume that he has potential to crack the lineup today. He, like last year, crushed left-handed pitching. He didn't get a ton of at-bats against lefties, but he crushed left-handed pitching last year. This season, he's really struggled against left-handed pitching. I could expect him to be a little bit better. Overall, though, I think you could stack either one of these teams. On the Rockies side, like I like Beck, I like Goodman, I like Ritter. Like I said, they called him up. Moniak is on the bereavement list, so like we might get a cheap like platoon right-handed hitter, but in this spot, so it'd be interesting to see who that could potentially be. I know they like sent down Bouchard, so I don't know who it could potentially be, but I really like the price on Ritter, 2,500. He's gotten at least one hit in 3 straight games since getting called up. So Ryan Ritter is cheap in cores with some upside. But Beck and Goodman, and they're very underpriced today. I think I'm forgetting somebody. Oh, Doyle. Don't forget about Doyle. Doyle should be in the lineup today. Brenton Doyle's really solid against left-handed pitching. All right, we got the Athletics at LA taking on the Angels. 9 total in this game. The Angels, a 174 favorite. Mitch Spence and Jose Soriano facing off against each other. Always starting with the visiting team. Mitch Spence, like, no. I mean, first of all, like, Mitch Spence, he threw 5 innings last time out, 57 pitches. It was a really solid outing for him. He's not typically going to see good outings like that. I mean, some of his stats are interesting. Like, he has a little bit of reverse splits for strikeouts, but he's done a good job of limiting right-handed power this year. But if you look at some of his advanced stats, he should be getting hit harder than he is. I just don't expect him to go deep enough in the game for me to want to play him. There is plenty of strikeouts. Like, this is one of the higher strikeout teams in baseball. So I could see why, but he's 7,500. Play Smith or Holmes or Bassett. Like, don't play Spence. Jose Soriano, same stuff all year that we've talked about. Really solid against righties, really bad against lefties. Ground ball pitcher, target fly ball guys against him. Red Sox crushed him last time out. So the bad thing for him here is like Rooker, fly ball hitter. The good thing for him here, I was trying to think of a good thing, but like there's strikeouts, I guess. Soderstrom, like there's some strikeouts here. But overall, for me on Soriano, I don't really have a ton of interest. I'll play some Athletics here for sure. Rooker, Butler, Soderstrom. Kurtz is back, if I remember correctly. I think I saw that. He got activated on Monday, and he was hitting. Like, he had started slow, but before he got hurt, he had multiple hits in 3 of 5. He had 4 home runs in 5-game stretch. So Nick Kurtz, big prospect, was starting to get it going, and this is a good matchup. Soriano, such a low strikeout pitcher, especially against lefties. As far as picking on Spence, again, like some of the event stats say pick on him. So I'll take some shots on like Trout, Ward, and see if I can find a cheap piece maybe. But the problem, like Ward is still cheap enough. Ohapi, and Ohapi was out of the lineup on Monday, so he should be back in there. So you can make a little 3-man stack with the Angels, I think is fine here. Seattle at Arizona is where we go next. 9 total, pick 'em game. Brian Wu against Brandon Pfaadt. So Wu in this matchup, like, he has been really solid against righties. He still does a good job of like just getting right-handed hitters out. Problem for him in this matchup is like this is one of the best teams in baseball against right-handed pitching. He's 9,500. I think there's just so many options in this range that are better than him. So I don't really have any interest in Brian Wu today. Brandon Pfaadt, I definitely don't have any interest in him. Below average strikeout pitcher, giving up a ton of power to both sides of the plate, a lot of barrels, like everything you're looking at for like wanting to stack an offense is what we get here from him. So he's been awful recently. I mean, if we look at his last 5 starts, he's given up 23 earned runs. So yeah, no real interest here in Pfaadt. I said that my favorite stack was coming. Seattle Mariners, my favorite stack on the slate today. We get them outside of their ballpark. They go into Arizona, a much hitter-friendly ballpark, much better, much more hitter-friendly. I'm tired. I'm sorry. Julio Rodriguez, Cal Riley, Polanco, Rosarina, Tellez, Cole Young, J.P. Crawford. Yes. If they are wearing a Seattle jersey, I am interested in them. I will say, like, they did call Canzone back up, so it'd be interesting to see if he cracks the lineup here and draws a start because he's 2,400 and he's been hitting really well in AAA this year. So I think like he could potentially draw the start here against the righty. I think the potential is there instead of like, isn't it Mastroboni they've been playing in the outfield? Yeah. So I could see like Canzone getting a start here at 2,400. Young is still 2,100. I mean, Polanco, a Rosarina, like you're paying up for Cal Riley. And I think it's very important to have him in your stacks just because like dude has 26 home runs crushing baseball this year, catching every day. It's just incredible. On the Arizona side of things, I think you could stack against Wu because this team's just so good and they have a lot of lefties and he kind of gives up a lot of fly balls. So, like, his strikeout rate is below average against lefties too, and he throws a lot of strikes, so gives up a lot of power. Carroll, Marte, Naylor, Perdomo would be my favorites here. I definitely want to. I definitely prefer the lefties. Wu against righties this year has been still very good, so I prefer the Arizona lefties here. Dodgers, Padres, 8.5 total. Pick'em game. So I've seen multiple things on like who could potentially start here for the Dodgers. So I've seen Bobby Miller gets called up and starts in this game. And some of the sports books have Jose Urena starting in this game, which would be a bullpen game. So check the news on this one. It's hard overall because we don't know. I will say, like, if it is Bobby Miller, like last year, Bobby Miller was such a below average strikeout pitcher and did not pitch deep into games. I probably would pass on him if it is him. Dylan Cease, talent-wise, one of the better talented pitchers on the slate. Just he gets the toughest matchup in baseball. I mean, the Dodgers against rain and pitching is just so hard, and he just hasn't had a clean start recently. He's given up at least 3 earned runs in 4 straight starts. We've seen a couple stealing games out of him this year, but I just don't think this is one of the spots. So I don't think the Dodgers will be super chalky here. Late game, tough matchup against C's. This just seems like an excellent spot to like play some Dodgers ownership wise, considering that C's hasn't really been dominating hitters. They're not like a top 3 stack for me today. But if I did get into like a 20-incher max, I would probably have a Dodgers stack or two. But I mean, that's daily for me. The Padres, yeah, I mean, it's really going to kind of, if it's a bullpen game, I don't really have a ton of interest in the Padres. If it is Bobby Miller and he gets called up here and pitches in this game, I think the Padres stack would be in play. He doesn't pitch deep into games typically, and gives up a lot of power to both sides of the plate. So, yeah, I mean, I think that if it ends up being Bobby Miller, I would have some interest in the Padres. Merle, Sheets, Cronenworth, Tatis, Machado, all in play. All right, morning grind game time. I was like, sit back, chilling, breaking down that slate. I got a late start. I had a meeting tonight, and I had a late start, and like, I made a ton of notes before the podcast, and I felt like I was super prepared for this slate, and I always feel like I fly through those slates. Anyway, morning grind game again. If you haven't already, make sure you head over to the Morning Grind YouTube page. It's YouTube, www.youtube.com/@morninggrind. So check that out. Hit subscribe. Hit that thumbs up button. Thank you. Under 8K to get 6 or more strikeouts. I think we have some options down in this range today. Just overall, said Smith at 8K is really interesting. But I'm going to go Grant Holmes to get the strikeouts today against Milwaukee. Over 8K to score under 15. This one's really easy for me today. I have absolutely no interest in Wu at his price. Over 4K to hit a home run. I mean, there are definitely some interesting choices for this one today. But I think we got to go to Julio Rodriguez. Like, big power. Really, I mean, okay. I could have easily said Cal Riley. Cal Riley's my favorite home run call today. I wanted to be a little different, so I went Julio Rodriguez. Under 4K to get 10 plus points. I wrote this down before the show, and I think there's a lot of options in this range. I just want to say that, like, I think, man, there's so many potential cores hitters today in this range too. Anyway, I wrote this down. Like I said, I wrote this down before the show, so I'm going to stick to what I wrote down here. And it's a little off the board, but give me Marcell Ozuna at 3,800 on DK against Quinn Priester. Just seems like a really cheap price tag. Sack to score 6 or more runs. Give me the Mariners. Like I said, I think Seattle's the top stack for me today. I'm going to play a lot of them. Hope everyone enjoyed the show. Back tomorrow, talking some baseball. Good luck, everyone, and I will see you then.